Given the additional risk of an early stage company, why do you invest in such early stage? So I didn't hear from Atul or from Chris or from Sunil. Why do you invest at such an early stage when there's less risk later?
That's a really good question. Yeah, it's a great question. So I'm going to think about my answer. I'm going to throw it out. Sharon's privilege.
I can answer real quick on our end. So we don't invest in any deal with the exception of maybe like a couple tech companies we've done, but anything on healthcare that we can provide value to. And so it tends to just be maybe on those earlier stage deals that we feel that we can actually contribute and kind of maybe help shape them a little bit versus maybe later stage where it's just capital. It's just like, we're not that big of a check size. It just doesn't really make sense for us on that end.
Got it.
So.
And I think in our case, it was just a function of where we are, right? I mean, the unmet need in places like Houston is really the really early stage science. And that's why we have created, but then we move along. So, I know that was going to be one of your questions, but if you look at some of our later companies, we've led a $16 million Series C for one of our companies and a $12 million Series B for another of our companies. It's structured a little bit differently. The money doesn't come from FAN in itself, but we lead it, and then we have other investors. But, it's almost, that's where we have to be, because that's where the science is.
Thanks, that's all. Mackenzie? Why early stage is the question.
Yeah, so again, optimizing for impact, generally early stage bets, really comes back to our legacy as first an accelerator where we tried to grow the category with early stage companies, and now we try to continue that spirit of work by investing in early stage companies presently.
Mike, I think your answer is pretty obvious, so I'm going to do that. I think for us, we see a huge opportunity in therapeutics in particular. With the farmers downsizing over the last 10 years, and we've seen the brunt of that in the UK with Pfizer closing down Sandwich and GSK closing Harlow, these huge sites have just literally vanished overnight. The pharma companies almost turned into M&A engines, and they are literally looking for innovation, and they are now, if you look at deals like Padlock, which Atlas did, and a few others, they're starting to play proper money, and they're coming in much earlier if they like the science. If you can marry up, if you have those industry contacts and you're talking to the farmer, what are you looking for, what are you looking for, and you can find really great science early and then support that to a stage where it could even be, it doesn't have to be in the clinic anymore. In the old days, you have to be in phase 2 plus before farmer even looks at you. Now they're going preclinical, they want to have more input into the IP, and they're acquiring science much earlier and paying proper money for it. So in my case, it's I see an opportunity really where I can see pharma acquiring, and we see great science in Cambridge, which is kind of underfunded at Cambridge UK, and we're being opportunistic in that sense, and we have this capability in the life sciences space. So that's from our point of view.